freezing skies above the Baltic Sea, at the absolute height of the Cold War, two Soviet MiG-23s scrambled to intercept an unknown intruder. Radar showed it moving fast, too fast for any known aircraft. What followed became one of the most disturbing air encounters ever recorded. Because when the lead pilot fired his missile, the target didn't explode. It vanished, and moments later, it reappeared, upside down, right behind them. The year was 1983. Tensions between NATO and the Soviet Union were at a breaking point. False alarms, radar glitches, and near misses were part of the daily routine. But this one, logged by a Baltic air defense unit, was different. The official log is chillingly brief. Unknown contact, Echo 1, appeared 02.14 hours, disappeared 02.18, reappeared 02.21 behind lead aircraft. No further explanation, no official record of what happened next. But the pilot who survived, Captain Yuri Antonov, told a story his commanders refused to believe. Antonov and his wingman, Lieutenant Sergei Volkov, launched from a coastal airbase in Kaliningrad. Their mission, intercept and identify an intruder flying low over the dark, icy waters of the Baltic. On the ground, the radar feed flickered with a ghostly blip, heading straight for Soviet territory. In the cockpit, Antonov's radio crackled. Falcon 1 to control, target acquired, low altitude, bearing 270. The reply came back, cold and professional. Copy, Falcon 1. Engage and identify. They switched to attack mode, their hearts pounding in the dim green light of their instruments, not knowing they were about to face something that simply shouldn't exist. The radar lock was perfect. Antonov armed his R-24 missile, his finger hovering over the fire button. Then, the impossible happened. The target signal split in two. Two identical returns appeared on his radar screen. He radioed back to base, his voice tight. Control, confirmed. We have two bogies? The response was firm. Negative, only one. You're seeing echoes. But on Antonov's head-up display, both targets were moving independently. Without warning, flares burst through the night sky. A missile launched. An explosion flared brightly for a second, then vanished. But there was no debris, no heat signature on their thermal images, just cold, empty radar. Then Volkov's panicked voice shouted over the radio, "Yuri, it's behind us, upside down." Antonov slammed his stick hard left, rolling his MiG in a desperate maneuver. The G-forces crushed his chest, blurring his vision. And there it was. A shadow-like aircraft, silent and unmarked, mirroring their every move, inverted just above them. It was a perfect, terrifying reflection. The MiGs dived low, skimming just above the dark, choppy waves. Tracer rounds from Volkov's cannon lit up the night as he fired. But the rounds, hundreds of them, seemed to vanish before reaching the target, as if the air itself was swallowing them whole. "I have tone. Firing," Antonov shouted, launching another missile. It locked on, and then froze mid-air, its guidance system completely dead, before simply falling into the sea. Suddenly, his radio filled with whispers. It wasn't Volkov. It wasn't control. It was just a cold, repeating digital signal. Echo 1, Echo 1, Echo 1. The radar screen went insane, lighting up with contacts. The target was now above, below, and all around them. Then, a blinding flash of white light filled Antonov's cockpit, and on his display, Volkov's MiG disintegrated. It just blinked out of existence. Antonov fought the controls, barely stabilizing his jet. When he looked again, the sky was empty. No trace of Volkov, no wreckage on the radar, nothing. He tried to call control, but all he heard was static. Then, out of nowhere, a voice whispered inside his cockpit. It wasn't Russian. It didn't even sound human. It was calm, clear, and utterly chilling. "Turn back." A moment later, all his instruments went dead. The altimeter was frozen. The fuel gauge read 0. Yet somehow the engines kept running, humming as if nothing was wrong. He obeyed the voice and turned his crippled jet back toward the coast. The second he crossed the Soviet air defense line, his system suddenly rebooted. lighting up as if they'd just been switched on. Antonov landed safely, his mind reeling. But Volkov's MiG and the mysterious radar contact were never found. The official report was a clean, simple explanation. Pilot error due to night conditions and radar interference. A classic cover-up. But Antonov insisted otherwise. He swore the aircraft wasn't NATO, wasn't Soviet, and wasn't anything he had ever seen before. Days later, he was quietly transferred, and then his name disappeared completely from active duty records. His family later claimed he started having terrible nightmares about voices from the radar. In his final letter, he wrote, "It wasn't a plane. It was watching us." To this day, the logbook from that night remains partially classified. The radar footage is officially listed as missing, and every attempt to locate the supposed crash site in the Baltic has failed, turning up absolutely nothing. Some believe it was an experimental stealth aircraft from a secret Western program. Others suggest it was a bizarre radar mirage, a trick of the weather over the cold sea. But Antonov AS flight data recorder shows one thing no one can explain. For 3 full minutes, his MiG-23 recorded another aircraft flying inverted, just meters above his canopy. No heat signature, no electronic ID, no call sign. A ghost in the machine. So what was Echo 1? A top-secret test flight that went horribly wrong? Or was it something else entirely? Something that was never meant to be seen, and that left a warning in its wake. The truth, like Lieutenant Volkov's plane, seems to have vanished into the cold, dark night. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy deep dives into mysteries like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.